Me coming on camera and just exposing myself in this way is hard. We're doing a vulnerability series. We need to express and acknowledge our pain in order to get through it. If you're not in that headspace, you probably want to skip this episode. Hey, what's up, you guys? Hey, what's up, you guys? It's your favorite tree, Nappy Tree. Welcome back to my channel. So I realized I didn't do an intro last time. We just jumped right into it. We're reading poetry here. We're talking about it. Grab something that makes you feel cozy and comfortable because we're talking about pain today and trauma. I am a poet. I transmute my pain. I articulate it with words and make it into pretty form. So we're gonna read that pretty form today. And I just want y'all to know that it's not so pretty. Going back and reading these poems, I'm like literally just propelled right back to the situation that I was in when I was writing them. Let's just get into it. Patience escapes me. Faces, names, intentions change as the seasons do. Affections crave intimacy, feigns consistency, both lack substance when you leave before dawn. I've learned to clean my sheets and tread depth with light feet, so I may run before I am ran from, never giving myself the chance to fall. Whew. Okay, so I am talking about dating and how frustrating it can be when all the faces and personalities and people are just melding together and, you know, you spend the night or you have some type of connection, you enjoy each other's company, but not enough to stay any longer than a night. There's gotta be more. So it's really my fault for keeping these walls up where nobody even has the chance to show me that they're more than just, you know, a temporary distraction. I had to acknowledge my part in making myself angry and as exhausted as I was with dating. From whom did I learn to allow others to take from me more than they have the ability to give? From whom did I learn to find comfort in discomfort? From whom can I learn the opposite? Take a look at the relationships around you, the relationships that you grew up watching and observing, the relationships that have informed how you feel about commitment and love. Take a look at that. A hard look. And then take a look at the relationships that you've been in. Compare them. Find all the similarities. If you are tired of your own BS, compare them and find all the similarities. I promise you, you'll make a different choice next time. You will be going into dating with more wisdom. We recreate familiarity. What is known is familiar and comfortable, right? The unknown is scary. What is known is comfortable. So we're gonna keep recreating that. And sometimes what we know is actually detrimental to our health and our well-being, and we're just not learning. So we keep finding ourselves in these situations. And I completely remember how done I was and how I did not want to keep recreating the same BS. I had to take responsibility. It's not enough for you to like me back. You have to act like it, y'all. I found myself in this cycle of finding people who had a really hard time expressing their feelings. So I would go to them and ask, like, hey, tell me how you feel about me. Like, you never tell me that you love me. And the response is, oh, well, I wouldn't be here if I didn't love you. Right. Okay, so your presence is definitely enough when I'm sitting here telling you that it's not. And I kept falling for people who were like that, who just was like, I'm here. Like, I wouldn't be here if I didn't like you. I wouldn't be here if I didn't care about you. I wouldn't be here. And it's like, I'm not even saying that you don't care about me. I'm saying that I need you to do a little bit more to show me that than just your presence. Presence is not the bare minimum, because like we could be pen pals, but if you're deciding to engage romantically, presence is the bare minimum. Give me something more. Please pick another love language. I should be prepared for this because I'm the one who wrote it. Okay. Faulty lover, please clarify. How many burn marks to the flesh one must endure for you? When will your affection resemble water instead of flame, passion defined by pain? Faulty lover, please clarify how you could ever call this love. Faulty lover, like you. Have you ever been called a faulty lover? Not a shitty lover. No. Not a crappy lover, not a boring lover, a faulty lover. You are defective. Get the out of my face. Please clarify how many burn marks to the flesh one must endure for you. Please allow me the pleasure of understanding. When will your affection resemble water instead of flame? Passion defined by pain. I don't want your passion if it's gonna feel like this. Faulty lover, please clarify how you could ever call this love. That's a call out. At this point though, after I've written this, I no longer even give a flying. I'm no longer about you clarifying anything. Bye. Once I write something like this, it's already over. I'm already gone. Even if you don't know that I'm gone. Even if we haven't had that conversation, you see all the pain that I'm going through, and yet you still require that I continue to come around and take your... Of course, I was still choosing to come around. You see where the delusion is? Emotional intelligence will tell you that it's not personal, but yet your girl is taking it very personal and deciding to stick around and torture herself. Why? I grew more and more silent, my thoughts eating me alive as if I'm not the only one whom can hear them. They scream and they scream, louder and louder, begging for a response they will never get. Hey guys, so I didn't like my original explanation of this, so excuse the voiceover, but When I wrote this poem, my thoughts were eating me alive every second of every day. They were screaming at me at the top of their lungs at this point, literally screaming. But I ignore them. I question them. I challenge them. I let those thoughts just completely consume me, because I know that if I open my heart to listening to what I don't want to be the outcome, it'll just make it real, and there's no turning back from that. And I just want to live in my bubble of delusion a little bit longer, because that feels safer than walking away. You get to a point where everything is still and like all you hear is the screaming. And to keep ignoring that, like, how much do you have to literally not love yourself to keep ignoring just how loud your unhappiness is? And you have the choice to walk the fuck away, and you don't. This one was rough. This poem has many meanings for me. It's not just me articulating one incident, it's more like many. I was really low when I wrote this. Okay. We're nervous, guys. This is hard. Poetry is hard. Putting your pain on display is hard, and I'm putting my pain on display. And
I had the nerve to get on camera and start talking about it.
Okay. It does have imagery of sexual assault. It's not in detail, but there is imagery there. So I just need to preface this with a trigger warning. Okay. This is so hard to do. Okay. As he sinks his teeth into me as far as they can go, I feel nothing. As the blood slithers across my flesh surface, staining the underbelly of my will a deep red, I feel nothing. His moans of pleasure disgust me as I allow yet another succubus to drain me of whatever essence I have left. I feel absolutely nothing. I am but a vacant shell, numb, waiting by the window, desperately longing for my return home. I'm a survivor, and so I actually contemplated not even putting this in here because I just don't want people to know me in this way. But I decided to write a poem about it and publish it. So here I am, being vulnerable and facing my fear. But yes, I am a survivor. I have worked really, really hard to heal from the damage that comes with that, and to even call myself a survivor. And this poem was an extremely large step in that healing process. So of course I couldn't delete this. I had to share it. And I hope you guys receive it. And I'm sorry if I did trigger anyone or if this has triggered anyone. That is not my intention. at all. I'm sharing my experience because I need people to know that they're not alone in this, and that the light at the end of the tunnel is a choice. I find it really empowering to remember that no matter what someone else has done to take your choice away, that you still have one. Have one. Okay, let's shake that off. I'm safe. I've survived. I'm okay. It wasn't my fault. We're okay. I have hot chocolate. I really don't just want to drop that very heavy poem and just move on. Like, that doesn't have an effect on us. So let's in through the nose, out through the mouth. Deep breath one more time. Elsewhere, barefoot in the grass, face toward the sun, book in one hand, heart exposed in the other. Escaping from reality, a reality I no longer identify with. So, after I wrote the previous poem, I somehow gained the courage to go somewhere outside of this to find myself again. Such a healthy coping mechanism. Escape to a delusion. Escaping from reality, a reality I no longer identify with. So my format and my repetition is intentional. To make you feel a little dizzy, make it feel like a little bit of an illusion, a little foggy. Escaping from reality, a reality I no longer identify with. I was fighting. That reality is not my reality anymore. We're gonna choose a different one. But of course, me escaping does not mean I've just magically healed out of this very negative state of being. Harmony is balance. All the emotions that we go through, we need to acknowledge them. So sometimes I wake up and forget that I am art. I would wake up in the morning and think that I was worthless, ugly, in over my head, never gonna find happiness again, full of despair. And I wouldn't see how any beauty can come from that, can come from this journey, this story that I am currently living. I forget who I was. As soon as I wrote that, this is why poetry is so healing. This is why acknowledging your demons and acknowledging how you feel is so important, because as soon as you acknowledge it, it no longer has this hold on you. It could still be there, but it's not a hold on you. It's not in control anymore. And when I feel a little bit of that power come back to me after acknowledging something that's extremely painful and dark or hard to process or hard to feel, it's like, damn, okay. Okay. Ooh. This one. Worn, comfortable, My favorite pair of shoes. Dirty, sentimental, familiar. Something I'd like to keep forever. Something destined to be replaced. A fickle kind of significant. A presence of fleeting importance, an importance of fleeting presence. The weight of your temporary rest on my chest, anchoring me to a choice I'm not courageous enough to make. I love you, but my heels bleed. The pain, soulless, glass-adorned toes, graveled ankles. Okay, you buy new shoes. You wear them with your new outfit or wear them sparingly so they don't get dirty. And then they get a scratch, and then they get a scuff, and then they get a crease, and then you start to wear them more often. They start to get more dirty, but they're your favorite pair of shoes. Shoes that you start to take for granted, shoes that you want to keep forever, but they're destined to be replaced. And that is crushing my heart because they're my favorite pair. If you're wearing shoes and your heels are bleeding and you haven't thrown them away yet, there's something fundamentally wrong with your choice making skills. There's a screw loose. So this is about a person. And it just feels harsh now because I compared them to an old, dirty, smelly pair of shoes. But the point is that they were my favorite. But sometimes you outgrow people. You outgrow people and you outgrow the situations that you're in with them. And it's up to you to decipher when it's time to move on. Do not wait until your heels are bleeding. Please have enough courage to make the decision before that happens. Don't be me in this situation. Do not be me. She folds in on herself, disappearing into the pain. Here, all monsters look the same. Having to deal with all this heartache and this pain and this despair, you are getting in bed with your depression once again. So you fold in on yourself. Everything wrong in my life in those low moments where I just want to put the covers over my head and stay there. Everything just looks exactly the same. It could be a splinter. It could be a death in the family. Those two things become equally as traumatizing. That's a rough place to be in, but depression and anxiety aren't logical. It doesn't help you make sense of situations. In fact, it does the total opposite. A shell of who you once were provides opportunity to fill yourself up with who you want to be. So this is just me realizing that feeling empty, I need to embody the person who survived that pain and came out rearranged. There's hope in that. Like, hey, I don't know myself right now. I don't know anything. Now it's like, okay, because you don't know anything, what is it that you want? Because you don't know anything, what is it that you want? Yeah. Black isn't the darkest darkness. I wish there were a color to describe the current gape in my existence. Just talking about that hole that I have. After my father died. I hate talking about this because like every show or every movie that I watch, there's a dead father and it's really annoying. Can I escape that for a little bit, please? But this is definitely the hole that he left. I come to you bare, nude from the soul down, You lash out as if it's too much trouble to listen, too much trouble to love me. Remember when we were talking about staying too long? It's gotten to the point where like every time I show up in this person's face, they're irritated, agitated, rude, grumpy. I picked a person who, when they went through something, nothing else mattered, including the people in their life. Like nothing else mattered. They couldn't hear anything. They couldn't hear how they were treating them. They couldn't hear that, hey, like maybe you need to take some space if you can't not be pleasant. You don't have to be pleasant when you're going through something, but if you are literally taking out your pain on someone that you love and you want to be there for you, and they bring that to your attention, it's like, okay, do I even want to taper this attitude or just stay quiet, or do I need to take some space? Because I do not want to hurt the people in my life, especially the people that are trying to be here for me. Like, if you need to express something, go express it. But don't project it onto me. Don't. It's hard to take. That shit is hard to take over and over and over, day in and day out, day in and day out, because you're stressed. Like, take your space. Please take your space. Please take your space. If the wind were to whisk me away, would my problems finally feel as non-existent as I do? I remember exactly when I wrote this. It was really, really windy. It was beautiful. The wind rustling through leaves sounds like waves, and it brings me so much comfort that it sounds like the ocean. It's wild. I remember I was in the middle of that windstorm, and it was hard for me to enjoy because I just wanted it to blow everything that I was feeling away. And of course, that's impossible. Oh, this one is a little harsh. You're the dreamy texture she wants to wrap herself in on rainy days. After the storm neglects to return her calls or text back or show up. You're the blanket she always reaches for. Her favorite. Soft, comfortable, reliable, utterly unexciting. Y'all know where this is going. The nice guy versus the bad boy archetype. The one that stresses you out versus the one that is just super kind and nice and a little bit of a yes man. There's nothing exciting about a ratty old blanket. You want it around, but you don't really think about it until you need it. You need a little comfort. There's nothing sexy about that. Suffering in silence isn't really silent at all. It's the loudest pain you'll ever endure. It's really hard for me to be vulnerable with people. And then sometimes I get into this mode where I don't want to go to therapy because I don't want to be analyzed professionally. I kind of just want to hug, you know? But I'm too afraid to ask that of somebody. I'm trying to break out of that. That is a flaw. Talk about a red flag. I'm just like so afraid to be a burden. I've been told, we don't need to go there. We don't need to, okay, no, fuck it. We said we were going there. I've been told that I'm just too intense. Like my emotions are just too intense. Hearing that, I would just rather deal with my emotions myself. Like being told that your emotions are too much or you're just too much, that's really hard to hear and swallow. It's one thing to be like, oh, that's too much for me in this moment. Like I can't show up for you in this moment, but I love you and I'm so sorry. That's a really beautiful and honest boundary. Sometimes you really just can't show up in that moment. I think it's really healthy to be able to say, hey, I'm so sorry, but I just don't have it in me to be there for you in the way that I know you need me to be. But to just be like, the response you're having right now does not match the situation you're in. What? How dare you tell me that the way that I feel right now isn't valid because it doesn't match the equations that you have in your head? It doesn't equal like the response that you think I should be having, as if my life and my reactions are scripted by you and what you find appropriate. Like,
Really?
last one. It's a good one. After we go through a very transformative period of torment, the dead of the hottest piece of this fire, there comes a moment where I'm born again of those ashes. And this is what this poem was talking about. I rose from the ashes a stranger, but I rose. I've just burned alive, and somehow I survived the fire, and I am a whole being again, but I don't know who this, I am not acquainted. I am not acquainted, but I would like to learn who you are. I would like to introduce myself. Hi, hello. My name is Moon, and I don't know you very well, but I am dedicated to figuring you out. Tell me if you guys like relate to some of the things that I'm saying. Or tell me how you feel about these videos. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe, click the notification bell so that you get notified whenever I post. We don't have a set schedule, so you want to hit the notification bell so that it notifies you when I have a new one. If you don't, then you won't see me. The algorithm doesn't like me yet. I should get my bong, huh? Let's hang out and take pictures and smoke now. Thanks for watching, y'all. I hope you're excited for the third one, because